Have you ever thought about ending it all? If you feel like there's no hope left, no real reason to keep going, or nothing in the world seems worth your effort, then please stick around for this podcast. I once knew a guy named Henry who lived in a small town just outside of Los Angeles. He was battling cancer, and his wife Sarah, who worked as a nurse, was taking care of him. Henry used to be a nurse too, but after he got sick, he could only manage to work a few hours at the local cafe. Friends started to visit less and less as Henry got sicker. But you know, Henry and Sarah had this little boy, just a toddler really, and that kid was the light of Henry's life. Every giggle, every new word, every little step he took made Henry want to fight harder. Alongside his treatment, Henry started doing some yoga and meditation. Bit by bit, he started feeling a bit better. For their anniversary, Sarah and Henry decided to take a family trip to Hawaii for a week of fun. But tragically, that trip ended all their happiness. On their way to Hawaii, they got into a severe accident, and both Sarah and child died instantly. After that, the world turned monochrome for Henry. He lost all his joy and hope. He'd sit by the window, tears streaming down as he stared at his son's stroller left by the tree in the yard, dozing off from exhaustion. After the accident, he struggled with depression and couldn't focus, causing several issues at the cafe until he was finally fired. Then, Henry became like a ghost. No job, no family, no hope. And the cancer that was once getting better could flare up any moment. Their savings were dwindling and Henry was utterly helpless. One day, as he was lost in pictures of his wife and son, the mailman knocked. Henry opened the door to a letter from the bank. Stress engulfed him because he knew what it was. After his wife's death, the mortgage had gone unpaid, and he knew the letter was a foreclosure notice or demand for payment. For Henry, it was the final sign that it was the end of the line. He thought, I'm going to die from cancer soon anyway, and without anyone to fight for, why should I prolong the pain? He decided he couldn't bear it any longer and planned to end everything that night to avoid seeing another day of pain. He meticulously arranged everything for what he thought would be his final act. As he gazed at his wife's photo, tears streaming down his cheeks, he whispered to her, I'll be with you tonight. In that moment of profound sorrow, he recalled her gentle advice during their times of hardship. Whenever you're upset or we've had an argument, take a moment. Give yourself 2 hours to cool off and think things through before you come back to talk or make any decisions. This memory of her wise words tugged at his heart, and he decided for one last time to honour her wisdom. So he gave himself 2 more hours, a brief respite, to perhaps find a glimmer of hope or peace before making his irrevocable decision. He thought during these 2 hours he will be prepared to say goodbye to his miserable life and to prepare for death if no miracle happens. As the clock began ticking away, Henry, in a moment of quiet desperation, made an unspoken pact to give life one last chance. These final 2 hours would be his testament, a final journey through the fragments of his life. Here are the things Henry did during those 2 hours. 1. Revisiting old letters. Henry began to sift through old letters and photos, remnants of a once happier time. Each word from past friends and family was a whisper from yesteryears, reminding him of love, laughter and hope. A dusty letter from his estranged old uncle, filled with words of love and longing for reconciliation, pierced his heart. It was the first spark of light in his darkness. Then he started to write a short letter to himself about what he achieved during his life and his feelings and why he wants to take his life. 2. Connecting with nature, Henry needed to clear his head, so he stepped outside. The cool evening air brushed against his skin, the stars blinked softly overhead, and the rustling leaves whispered secrets. As he walked through the small garden where he once tended with care, the beauty of a single blooming flower caught his eye. It stood resilient amidst the weeds. Henry realized if this single flower could fight to bloom, perhaps he could too. 3. A call for help. Back inside, Henry's gaze fell upon an old, unused phone. On a whim, he dialed a number that was in top list of Sarah's contacts. The voice on the other end was gentle, a soothing presence in his turbulent sea. He was named Tom. Tom didn't solve Henry's problems, but for a few precious moments, Henry felt heard and understood. The conversation was a small beacon of hope and illuminated the possibility of connection. 4. Rediscovering music. As he ended the call, his eyes landed on an old guitar, a relic from his youth. Fingers trembling, he picked it up and strummed a few chords. Each vibration sang into his weary soul was like awakening forgotten joy. The music was a reminder of his once passionate heart that still was capable of melody and rhythm. 5. Helping another soul. Looking out the window, Henry noticed a stray dog rummaging through the bins. Something about the lone creature stirred him. He opened the door and offered the last of his dinner. The dog's wagging tail and grateful eyes filled a void he hadn't realized existed. In caring for another, even just a stray dog, Henry found a purpose, a connection to life outside his own agony. 6. Planning for tomorrow. As the 2 hours neared their end, Henry, now a vessel of conflicting emotions, sat down with a piece of paper. He began to write, not a farewell note as he had intended, but a list of things to do for the next day. Contacting his old friend, visiting a doctor, volunteering at an animal shelter, and so on. Each task was a thread in the fabric of a future he hadn't considered just hours before. The clock's ticking ceased to be a countdown to his end, but transformed into the rhythm of life's possibilities. Henry realized that while he couldn't erase his past or his pain, each moment held the promise of a small step toward healing. He didn't need to fight all his battles at once. He just needed to live through them one day, 1 hour, 1 moment at a time. Every day Henry gave those 2 hours to hope a try, and bit by bit he started to feel a little lighter. One day he finally felt brave enough to open that letter from the bank. And guess what? It was like a little miracle right there in his hands. The house loan had been paid off by a cancer charity. They knew about Henry's tough spot from his wife and a guy named Tom who'd chatted with Henry that tough night. Turns out Sarah had been a real angel, caring for sick kids in their own homes. After she passed away, the families of those kids came together to sort out Henry's loan, and there, right with the bank's letter, was a heartfelt note. "Happy anniversary from heaven, love, Sarah." It was a small, sweet sign that Sarah's kindness was still touching Henry's life. Today, as I tell you this story, 40 years have passed since that day. After that night, Henry joined the Cancer Society Club and dedicated his life to helping people, mainly providing emotional support. Yes, you guessed it right, I am Henry, a cancer survivor. If I had not given myself those 2 hours, I would not be here now to tell you this story and to offer a glimmer of hope to many who feel hopeless. My story doesn't end in triumph or tragedy, but in quiet, hopeful continuation. It's a testament to the power of giving life another chance, even when all seems lost. Through small, seemingly insignificant actions, I found reasons to fight the darkness, to embrace the complexities of life, and to seek the dawn of a new day. My journey is a message of resilience, hope, and the enduring human spirit. Now I give you the 2 hour to hope exercises to do whenever you have lost hope in life. Don't forget to share them with anyone who needs it. You might be another Tom and save another Henry's life. The 2 hour mindful journey to hope. The first 20 minutes is about reflective writing. So, exercise number 1. Write a letter to yourself. Look at your old photos and letters and write down what you're feeling and why you think you might be feeling this way now. Acknowledge the pain without judgment. Exercise number 2. List your achievements. No matter how small, write down things you've accomplished or moments you've been proud of. Then, the next 20 minutes are to connect with nature. So do these 2 exercises. Exercise number 3. Step outside or look out a window. Take a deep breath of fresh air. Feel the sun or breeze on your skin. Notice the colours of the sky, plants or surroundings. Exercise number 4. Mindful walking. If safe, take a short walk, focusing on the sensation of each step, the sounds around you, and the rhythm of your breath. Next is 20 minutes of creativity or hobby. Follow exercises number 5 and 6. Exercise number 5. Engage in a creative activity. Draw, paint, play an instrument, knit, or do any hobby that usually relaxes you or brings joy. Exercise number 6. Listen to uplifting music or sounds. Choose music that uplifts or soothes you. Alternatively, listen to nature sounds or guided meditations. Then you should have 20 minutes of physical movement as follows. Exercise number 7, gentle exercise. Engage in light exercise like stretching, yoga, or a leisurely walk. Focus on how it feels to move your body. Exercise number 8, breathing exercises. Practice deep breathing, inhaling slowly and exhaling longer than your inhale. Use guided imagery if helpful. The next 20 minutes is for connection and hope. Do the followings. Exercise number 9. Connect with a supportive person. Call a friend, family member, or helpline. Sometimes just hearing a supportive voice can bring immense relief. Exercise number 10. Pet or care for a plant. If you have a pet, spend some time with them. Alternatively, care for or simply touch a plant, focusing on the life it represents. The final 20 minutes is for planning forward. Do the last moves with all your attention. Exercise number 11. Write a to-do list for tomorrow. List small, manageable tasks for the next day. Include something you can look forward to. Exercise number 12. Visualization. Close your eyes and visualize a place or scenario where you feel safe and happy. Imagine yourself there and hold on to the positive feelings it brings. Remember, these exercises are meant to act as immediate calming activities while waiting for professional help. Don't keep this journey to yourself. Share it with anyone who might be standing where I once stood, looking for a beacon in the night. You never know whose life you might touch, whose hope you might rekindle. If today's podcast made a difference for you, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt content. Together, let's spread a wave of hope. Remember, you're not alone, and sometimes all it takes is 2 hours to turn the tide. Take care, and I'll see you in the next podcast. Spread hope, spread light.